Hey everyone, hope you guys do good. So let's get to question 4 in chapter 15 for period cost allocation, guys. So right now we have another past midterm question. And guys, funny enough, when I took the class in COVID and the exam was online, this question was on my midterm. So this is from the fall 2020 exam. So this was my midterm question. So guys, let's go relive some trauma for me. Well, I mean, I did pretty good on this exam. Some other class traumatized me. Managerial accounting is not one of those classes that traumatized me. So let's relive my old midterm exam. All right, so let's get after it. The GMAT Corporation has 3 service departments: factory, admin, factory maintenance, building and grounds, 2 producing departments, machining and assembly. They're currently evaluating several methods of allocating service department budgeted cost to producing departments. Okay, accordingly is the following information prepared for the month of June 2024. Okay, so they tell you right off the bat, guys. Okay, and they actually don't tell you in the grids, obviously, but here are our support departments, and then here, guys, are the operating departments, okay? Now let's go see how each support cost is allocated, okay? So the cost of factory and admin and building and grounds are allocated on the basis of direct labor hours and square footage respectively. So let's actually start noting some of this stuff down. So it tells us factory admin, so FA, factory admin, and building and grounds is based on DL, or total labor hours and square footage. So for total labor hours, guys, I'm putting in brackets here. I'm gonna put factory admin. And then for square footage, I'm gonna put BG, which stands for building and grounds. So I'm just gonna put in some notes right off the bat, just so I know how each cost is allocated, okay? Because that's very important to me. I have to know like how I'm allocating each support cost, because if I screw that up, I'm done for. Okay, I'm in the gutter. I'm taking this next semester if I mess this up. Okay, now, however, the costs of factory maintenance are allocated on the basis of percentage of service rendered, and they just give you the percentages already. Okay, now guys, this is sort of a trick, and I'm going to show you why, okay, in a little bit. Okay, in a little bit, don't worry. Keep you on your toes for now. Okay, so basically they're giving you the percentages already, and I can show you the mistake that students made when I took the exam with them, okay? So let's read the required now and figure out what we're doing here, what boards we basically have to make. Do we just need the proportion matrix? Do I need the cost board? Right? Like, what do I actually have to do? Do I have to do both? Most likely I have to do both. But yeah. So, required. Allocate the service department cost to the producing departments using the direct allocation method. Okay, so guys, we're doing the direct method. Let's build the board here. Okay, so we're building the cost allocation board. Required 1, direct method. Okay, so let's go put here. Let's go do this. Let's go merge 3 cells for our support, because we got 3 support departments. So I'm going to put support. Then merge 2 cells here for operating. And then let's go put all our departments here. So it's because we're doing the direct method, I don't care about the order. So I'm just going to follow the order here that's in the question, okay? So factory admin, FA, FM for factory maintenance, BG for building and grounds, M for machining, A for assembly. Okay, then I have my cost before allocation. Now, guys, I follow the order here. So factory admin is first, factory maintenance is second, building and grounds third. And then afterwards, guys, I have my cost after allocation. Okay. Hope everyone is good with this. Hope everyone is okay. All right. And then also let's put in a total column just to check our answers afterwards if we would like, which I highly recommend. Okay. Like you guys know, well, maybe you know me from previous classes. I'm the king of careless mistakes, especially when teaching, right? Because I'm focused on explaining something and I just click on the wrong number. So I love these checks. Like, this is something that you should actively do on your exam, guys. Okay, because when you're stressed out on exams, careless mistakes are very likely to happen. So it's good to have these in your arsenal just so you can check them and you'll be good. So cost for allocation, let me just copy this in just to save time. Okay, there we go. Now let's get to it. Okay, so first off, we're doing the direct method. Okay, so I'm just going to do equal sum here, just because I know at the end of the day, all my support department costs have to be 0 at the end. Okay, and let's go put a border here on the right. Splitting support and operating, okay? So there we go. Now, everyone, first things first, we're going to allocate factory and admin. So we know the cost of factory and admin. We're basically going to take the 68,000, we're going to minus it, because we're taking the 68,000 and we're passing it over to the other departments. Now, guys, because we're doing the direct method, there's no relationship between the support departments. So I'm just going to put 0 everywhere. Okay, well, what I mean by everywhere, I mean here and here. Okay, so we start with that. So we only have to allocate to machining and assembly, okay? So now let's build our proportion matrix. Proportion matrix. Okay, it sounds much cooler than what it actually is. Okay, like Matthew showed me a proportion matrix, thinking you're finally gonna, you're finally gonna sound cool to your friends while doing an accounting major. Okay, at least you're not an engineering major. Okay, so now that's what I have to say. Shots fired as usual. Okay, so now let's keep getting into this. So for our proportion matrix, so let's put FA, let's go drag across here. Okay, and now guys, let's get to allocating. So first off, factory and min, they allocate based on, so we have factory and min, let's put total, and then we have percentage, okay? All right, so we start there. So now for factory and min, how much does factory allocate to themselves? So we see here, factory and min allocates 28,000 labor hours to themselves. Do you care about this? Do you care that the fact that factory and min says, well, 28,000 hours goes to me? You see me as I'm grabbing the X? No self allocations, please. And now for building and grounds, guys, what are we going to X out here? Okay, building square footage is used to allocate building and grounds. So the square footage for building and grounds is 4,000 is null. It's not useful. Not useful. It's useless unless you want to get the question wrong. If your goal is to get the question wrong, by all means. Okay, so first off, direct method, guys. So just to save time, okay, black this out. Now I have to figure out how much does factory and min allocate to maintenance and then assembly. So remember, guys, factory and min allocates based on labor hours. So I'm just right here based on DL, direct labor hours. Okay, so factory and min gives 480,000 machining, 320 for assembly. So 480, 320, and then our total, okay, then we do equals that, and now last but not least, this divided by this, 60% and 40%. There we go. Okay, that is our first allocations here, guys. Okay, so for machining, so equals minus this times 60 equals minus this times 40, 27. And just like that, guys, we have now allocated the factory admin costs. 0 here. So that's how we know we're good, because we took the 68,000 and we spread it evenly. All right. And let's put this in red. Next up, factory maintenance. Okay. So guys, direct method, ignore the relationship between support departments, 0. Now guys, I'm going to press equals here and I'm going to put a minus because the maintenance cost is what we allocate. Oops, what did I put here? Drag that. Okay, good. Okay, now, and then there's nothing allocated building and grounds. Okay, now, everyone, for factory maintenance, okay, let's go build our proportion matrix. So FM, factory maintenance, it's allocated based on the percentage of service rendered. Okay, I'm writing percentage serve here. Total, there. Now let's go put a bottom border over here, okay? So now, everyone, let me go actually make some more room. Let's go click on this and drag. Okay, now we are doing the direct method. So I'm going to be very excessive here and just block this out. Now for factory maintenance, the percentage of service rendered. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you a mistake that a lot of the students made. Okay, they thought, guys, your allocation percentages were already given to you. So I'm going to show you, because this is very tricky. What students did on my exam, and they were showing me afterwards, like, yeah, Matthew, that was very chill. It's no problem. They gave me the percentage of service already, so I didn't have to go do this because they saw a percentage already. So like, you know what? I don't need to build a matrix. Okay, because they already give me 50 and 30. Why is that wrong, guys? Because you're not accounting for 100% of anything, right? You see here, this 50%, it's not really 50% because it's 50% of a total. Okay, it's 50% of the 100. But guys, since you're doing, okay, because this 50 and 30, this is out of 100. Right? But now, guys, since you're doing direct method, because normally, guys, when you're doing the allocations here, it basically says for factory maintenance, 20%, 20 over 100 goes to building and grounds. Okay. Then you have 50 over 100 goes to, machining. Then 30 over 100 goes to maintenance. Okay. Because that's what it normally is. All right. So students just put 50 and 30 here because they're like, oh, we were already given the proportion. But guys, you're doing the direct method. So should the 20% be included? The answer is no. So as a result, guys, your allocation changes. So rather than being 20 over 100, okay, this is ignored, the 20. So now, guys, your total, it's basically 50 over 80 and then 30 over 80 because that 20% is like void. It's not that anymore. So these percentages, guys, they're fake. They need to be recalculated because now it's 50 over 80 and then 30 over 80. Right? So I want everyone to see this here on how it shifts the percentages. And that's the mistake that students made on my exam. Okay, they literally said like, oh, Matthew, yeah, I saw 50 and 30 here. I was like, no, guys, like the 20% is not included. So you have to compute the new percentage. It's very tricky. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it here. We're going to put 50%, because basically what we're doing, guys, is just 50, and I'll show you in a second. So add this up. So now, guys, we're doing 50 over 80 and then 30 over 80. So our new percentage is 62.5 for machining and 37.5 for maintenance. And that was the trick here, guys. So then we do the cost we're going to allocate times 62.5 for machining, and that times the 37.5 for assembly. So that was the trick here, guys. If they ever give you percentages, don't just assume, okay, that's the percentage you're going to use to allocate. Like, don't assume any freebies, guys. Do the board just to be safe. Because when they give you a percentage, guys, and then you're taking away 20, that means you have to reallocate everything based on the 80 now. So it changes completely. Okay, so I want you guys to be very aware of that. So last but not least now, building and grounds. Okay, let's put zeros here because no relationship between support. And now, guys, let's build the building and grounds allocation schedule. Okay, let me just have some water here. All right, back. Got my water ready to go. So now, everyone, last but not least, we have the building and grounds here. Okay, so we're going to equals minus that times, and oh, okay, wait, oops, forgot about that. Sorry, when we have water and then you come back, I paused the recording. I was literally gone though for like 10 minutes. I was also walking around playing with my dog. Okay, bad habits. And then I come back, I'm like, okay, where was I at? Anyways, let's get into this. So for building and grounds, we have B and G, which allocates based on square foot, SQFT. All right, then we have total and now percentage. Okay, now for this, guys, which is equals, I'm going to drag across, or let's put it up here. Okay. And then because, guys, we're doing the direct method, black this all out. Oops, not all that. Let's do this. Okay. And now we have machining and assembly. So, guys, building grounds allocates based on square feet, and there's 70,000 and 30,000. So I'm going to put 70,000, 30,000. So we all know, guys, our total is going to be 100. And then, guys, we basically have 70% and 30% if you can't see it already. So here we go. 70 over 100, 70%, 30%. That's a wrap. Okay. There you go. Now, next up, guys. So equals minus 53 times 70%. Okay. Then equals minus that times 30%. There we go. 15,900, 37,100. And now, guys, just like that, 37,100, 5,900, you have now done your cost after allocation for the direct method, and you build your whole cost allocation board, okay? So allocate service department costs, production department uses direct allocation method. Required one is done. Okay, we're starting off with 100%. Let's go on to this next question on the exam, and this is tricky. Using the reciprocal method, provide the simultaneous equations, including the mutual services provided among all other service departments for factory maintenance, factory admin, building and grounds departments. The simultaneous equations do not need to be resolved. Okay, guys, so in this question here, they just ask you to do the equation. So I think I've said this in a previous recording, where if they give you 3 support departments, you're not actually gonna have to do the math and build like the allocation board. Because doing a 3-way substitution when you have 3 essentially X values, 3 missing values, is very hard and just not in the scope of an accounting class. Like, this isn't a math class, right? You're not an actuary. I mean, actuaries would love to do something this easy mathematically compared to what they do. But like, yeah, guys, this is not a math course. So they're not going to make you solve the 3 equations, but they could ask you, wait, this is not bolded. It's bothering me. Okay. But they could ask you, all right, what would the equations look like? So that's required too. We're building the equations for the reciprocal method. Okay. So, okay, required 2 equations for reciprocal method. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Let's build the equations. Now, guys, remember, for the equations under the reciprocal method, okay, let's go over the base equation. So your cost allocated for S1. Okay, so this is the negative number that you put in your cost allocation board. It's the cost before allocation plus the amount that they use from the next support department, plus usage of S2 over total from S2. And then you multiply this whole amount by S2. And then, guys, right, support department 1 has the cost before allocation from their own support department Then they're going to use some from S2. Whoops, I put S3 by accident, S2. Then they're going to use some from S3. So usage of S3 divided by total S3, and then you multiply that by S3, the cost. Because what the S2 represents, when you multiply it by S2, that basically means the cost that you're going to allocate from support department 2 is the cost that you allocate from support department 3. So guys, this is like our base equation. Now let's go apply it 3 times over, okay? So first off, everyone, I want to start off with our factory admin, our FA. So guys, we start off, what's the cost before allocation for factory admin, okay? Because when we're figuring out the cost allocated, okay, we're basically figuring out the amount to put on our board here. So we need to figure out, first off, what's the base of the department? And then we have to add all the other costs that would be here, right? Because that's what our cost is basically going to be. The cost to be allocated is basically the sum of all this. Okay, the blue here, I'll just add this in blue. It's basically the sum of these 3. Let's highlight that. Okay, whatever I put as a box here. So 68 plus this plus this. Okay, that's basically what we're solving for. So we start off with our cost before allocation, which is 68,000. Now we have to see here, guys, okay, how much do we use of the next support department? So how much does factory admin use, okay, from factory maintenance? So let's go look here and see how much factory maintenance helps admin. Well, guys, factory admin doesn't receive any help from factory maintenance. Okay, the factory maintenance costs are allocated. They give 20% to building and grounds, 50% for machining, 30% for assembly. So yes, factory admin actually does not help. Factory maintenance does not help factory admin at all. So what's the usage of S2? 0% over the total of 100%. Okay, because there's no self-allocations here for factory maintenance, which would be very tricky, by the way. Because they could technically, guys, they technically could put factory maintenance allocates 5% to themselves, and then you would have to shift around everything anyway. Okay, so just always be careful if they give you the percentage of service rendered and they tell you, well, we allocate 5% to ourselves, right? There might be a question like that in our midterm reviews. Who knows? So anyways, 0% times 100%, and you take all this and you multiply that by FM. Okay, then next up, we're going to take the usage of support department 3. So guys, factory admin. And basically all we're doing, guys, we're going on the factory admin column here, and I'm just looking in this column. Right, so how much does factory admin use of maintenance? Well, nothing, because they gave it here. Now factory admin, they don't use this 20,000 hours, no self-allocation. Now factory admin, guys, uses 1,000 hours, 1,000 square feet from building and grounds. Okay, so you know 1,000 is the usage of S2, right? So or S3 rather. Okay, they use 1,000 square feet from building and grounds. Now let's figure out the total allocation, B and G. Okay, so let's do that right now. So for our total allocation for building and grounds, guys, we basically have to add up everything. Now, when we're adding it up, okay, make sure you ignore, okay, the self-allocation. So even though building and grounds is 4,000 square feet, it's allocated to themselves, so you ignore that. So our total allocation for building and grounds is 1,000 plus 2,000 plus 70,000 plus 30,000. 103. Okay, so that is our total allocation for factory admin, 103. And then multiply that by B and G. Okay, that's how it would look. Okay, so that's our first equation. And this is why I like doing this problem, guys, just for the purpose of teaching. I feel like it's really good just for building the equations, because you see here, we start with our cost before allocation, then how much do we use of factory maintenance, then we see how much we use of building and grounds. So 1,000 over the 103. Okay, now let's do factory maintenance, okay? So factory maintenance, guys, the cost before allocation for factory maintenance is 60,000. Okay? Then, guys, let's start off with factory admin. So how much does factory maintenance use of factory admin? So let's figure that out. So factory maintenance here, guys, let's look in the factory maintenance column, because in the maintenance column, guys, we'll see everything that support department uses specifically. So factory maintenance uses 24,000 hours from factory admin. Okay, so 24,000 hours over what total? Okay, so let's go do the total allocation, FA. Okay, so remember, guys, we're using the amount, okay, that factory maintenance uses from the admin. Okay, so that's why I multiply by FA afterwards, so I make sure I'm on the admin line for factory maintenance. Okay, so let's go do the total allocation. Now we ignore the self-allocation, we always do. Now we have 24,000 hours for factory maintenance, then 39,000 hours go towards building and grounds, Then 480,000 goes towards machining. And last but not least, the 320,000 goes to assembly. Okay, so we add this all up. Our total allocation is 863. So 24,000 over 863,000. Then we take this total amount and we multiply by factory admin. Okay, so maintenance, guys, is 60,000 cost before allocation. Then they're going to use 24,000 of the 863 of the factory admin cost. Then last but not least, guys, factory maintenance is also going to mooch off of building and grounds. Okay, now how much are they going to mooch off building and grounds? Well, they're going to use 2,000 square feet. Okay, 2,000 square feet of the total 103. So we already did here, guys, the total allocation for B and G. It's right above. So times BG. All right, and that is our second equation. So we're going to go one by one exactly like this. And we're just going to do the same template. Let's do now B and G. So B and G, and try to do this on your own even. Like pause the recording, try to solve. So B and G, we're first going to take, all right, the cost before allocation. So what's the cost before we start receiving an amount from support departments, right? So this is the amount, the 53,000. And then, guys, we're basically going to receive two amounts here and here, right? In the reciprocal, that's what it looks like. We're going to receive two amounts here and here. So we got to build like those equations just to figure out what these amounts would be. So B and G, we have 53,000. Then, guys, the first thing, B and G is going to receive amounts, receive help from factory admin. Building grounds use 39,000. So we see here in the building and grounds column, we see here they use 39,000 of the total 863. Okay, because we did the total allocation right over here. So we do that times FA. Okay, plus. Okay, plus. We are going to do the next one now. So B and G, guys, they're also going to receive help from factory maintenance. So how much are they going to receive from factory maintenance? Okay, B and G. Okay, they're going to receive 20%. So 20% over 100% times FM. Okay, and that's your equation right there. It's pretty straightforward, that last one, I got to be honest, because they already gave you the 20 over 100. But here, guys, are your three simultaneous equations. And this is why, guys, I like doing this question, because it really forces you to understand how each equation is built. So if you guys have any questions, don't be shy to let me know. It's always, guys, cost before allocation plus the use of the next support department times the support department, then the amount of use of the next support department after that times the support department after that. And you just keep repeating. Okay? So that's required 2, now required 3. Using a step-down allocation method to allocate service costs to producing departments, the ranking order is determined on the basis of highest and lowest cost. So guys, step-down method based on highest to lowest cost. Provide to the support department to determine the overhead rates. Okay, so first off, we're doing the step-down method. Okay, then they have to tell you how we do the ranking. If they don't tell you, remember, you assume highest to lowest. Then they tell you, okay, find me the overhead rates, and they give you the estimated machine hours. So guys, let's build the board and let's hit this home run. Okay, so actually, let's go copy this in first and then put required 3, step down method, and then we're doing it based on highest to lowest cost. Okay, so we start there. Now let's copy in here. Okay, now let's get after it. Actually, merge and center for these 3. Merge center for these 2. Okay, now let's go see what's the highest and lowest cost. Does it follow the order? Yeah, it does. Okay, so guys, it's still factory admin, maintenance, and B&G. Beautiful. Love to see it. Okay, so we're going to go here and just drag. So that's always nice. Oh, that's for the amounts. And then let's go drag upwards and to the side. There we go. Okay, so now without further ado, we have our cost before allocation there. Bam. Okay, so it's literally the exact same order because we're ranking based on highest to lowest cost. I love to see it. We don't have to shift around the order. That's so nice. FA, then FM, BG, cost after allocation, because we're just going to build our board here first, guys, and we'll do our proportion matrix afterwards. Then we have our expected activity, because, guys, they want the PMOH. They want your predetermined overhead rate. So there we go. Now remember, guys, your predetermined overhead rate is only for the operating departments. Okay? Now that we're good here, let's get after it. Okay? So let's go through it. Now, for our proportion matrix, okay? So for factory admin, that's our first, that's like our top dog. So 68,000 can be allocated to everything. Okay. So now figuring out factory admin, how much goes to maintenance? Let's go build our proportion matrix. Proportion matrix. Okay. There we go. And we could do it the fast way if we want. Whichever way we want to, whichever way is our preference at the end of the day. Okay, so let's go here, factory admin. Maybe I'll do it the fast way. It's just so you guys can see. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to do it in one shot. I'm just going to go put here FA. So I'm going to put here FA percentage. So let's just get after it. So first off, for factory admin, okay, no self-allocation, 0. For factory maintenance, it's going to be 2,000 over the total. Sorry, factory maintenance can be 24,000 over the total. So let's do the total now. We already did it before, by the way, guys, but you'll see here 24,000 plus 39,000 plus 480,000 plus 320,000. Okay, so we do here equals 24,000 divided by this. Then we have here, wait, let's see here, 480, 320, yeah. Then we have next up, we have, what is it, building and grounds, 39,000 over the total. Then we have 480,000 divided by the total. Then we have 320,000 divided by the total. There we go. Okay, so now we do equals minus this times this equals minus this times this. Okay, because building grounds basically uses these percentages. Let's go 2 decimal. Then we go minus this times this equals minus this times this. There we go. And now we sum it up. Okay, 0. All right. So I hope that's okay with everyone. And that's how we know we have the right answer. Okay. Put your comma because these aren't dollar values. The expected activity is not a dollar value unless it's like DL dollars, but it's rare. Okay. Now, everyone, factory maintenance. Okay, so for factory maintenance, you never allocate backwards, right? Remember, we go down the stairs. We build a staircase. Okay, we build our staircase. Factory maintenance, nothing. Now let's go FM percentage.
It's time for bed.
Okay, I'm not sure if anyone heard that. That's my Alexa going off. If anyone heard, it's time for bed. That's what my Alexa says when it gets to midnight. But the party don't stop. We keep going. We keep recording. So now, guys, factory maintenance. How much do they allocate to admin? Nothing. Why? Because we go down the staircase. Now, factory maintenance. How much do they allocate to themselves? Nothing. No self-allocations. Okay, and you guys, if you don't know, when you do your matrix like this, you can actually build your little staircase. Because then you'll see here B and G percentage. Okay? And you can make it look nice like this. All right, so anyways, factory maintenance. Okay? So first off, factory maintenance allocates 20% for building grounds, 50%, and then 30%. Okay, so we don't have to change anything. 20%, 50%, and 30%. And that gives us a total of 100%, so we don't have to adjust anything. Okay? Because guys, like, let's just say like factory maintenance was like the bottom dog, right? It was last. Then we'd have to adjust the percentages because we'd only have 80 here. Okay, but since it's the second rank, we're okay. We're good to go. All right, so I hope that's okay with everyone. Now, let's go do the allocation here. So first off, equals minus sum, because I need these two to be negative, and let me just actually sum all my costs after allocations. Just because at the end of the day, I need them to all be 0. Okay, let's put a line here. It's just bothering me. There we go. Okay, now, let's go allocate away. So first off, the cost that we're going to allocate, and it should be a negative here, so equals minus sum. So equals minus that times 20% because building grounds uses, factory maintenance. Factory maintenance provides 20% to building and grounds, then equals minus that times 50% because factory maintenance helps machining by providing 50% of the service. Then factory maintenance helps assembly by providing them 30% of their service. And there we go. Okay, last but not least, equals minus sum. Okay, building grounds. So building grounds, guys, is 68,451 to allocate. And then, guys, we have 480, 320. Sum it up. Well, not sum those two. Let's do equals sum. Do on this, 800,000. So equals minus this times, oops, oh my god, bad habit. I forgot to make the percentages. So equals 480 divided by this. You can tell, and Alexa says it's time for bed. Oh, it's a circular reference. Oh yeah, because I did like I normally did it. My bad. Okay, let me fix this. So let's do equals, oh my god, 480. I did 480, 320. That would have been a horrible mistake. Okay, so 70,000, 30,000. Oh, thank God I made a careless mistake there so I could notice. 70,000 plus 30,000. Okay, geez, you know what? Like maybe it is time for bed. Okay, so don't make a careless mistake. So 70,000 plus 30,000, there's 100. And now, guys, we can go do our proportions. So you do 70,000 over 100,000, 70%. Then we got 30,000 over 100,000. That's 30%. Okay, so there we go. We have 70%, 30%. Now let's allocate. So equals minus this times 70 equals minus this times 30. Boom. All plus. Why is it not summing up for me? Because now we've done all our allocations. Come on, Excel. Let me finish. We want to move on with our lives. We want happiness. We want to get away from accounting. There we go. Okay. Now, guys, we divide now by our expected activity, and they tell you this here. They tell you the estimated machine hours and the estimated, so factory overhead rates for the production departments. Okay, we have to find them. So the bases are machine hours, and they use 400 machine hours for machining and 300 estimated machine hours for assembly, okay? So they give you the machine hours, guys, and the keyword here, guys, is estimated, okay? Like I've explained to you before in the previous problem, at least the time it's recording, question 3 up here. Remember, guys, we were calculating your predetermined overhead rate, the P in predetermined, before the year starts, right? So use budget values only. So if they give you actual values here, because sometimes they do that, guys, they'll give you the actual values as a trap. You never use that. Use estimated only. Estimated, budgeted, anticipated, expected. Okay? So I want you to emphasize the P in predetermined. So you use expected or budgeted amounts only. So use 400,000 estimated machine hours for machining, 300,000 machine hours for assembly. So our predetermined overhead rate for the production department is 4.09 for machining. And then afterwards here, 6.08 for assembly. And just like that, guys, we have now done an advanced chapter 15 question on period cost allocation, guys. So another past exam in the books. And we have one more question after this, which is, guess what? Another past exam. We're just going straight into it. There's no hand holding here, guys. We're going right after it. So hope you all enjoyed this recording. Like I said, this was a very tough one. Okay, like I said, this is one of the tougher past exam ones, but it's really good practice, especially by the time you get to your reviews. This is the type of stuff that will prepare you, okay? So hope you all enjoyed the recording, and let me know if you have anything, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.